It's all a bit confusing, isn't it, life at the moment? It's all a bit strange. Things going on all over the place. People telling you stuff. One minute you're challenged about what's really going on in the world, and then next minute you're being challenged on what you've just been challenged. I don't know if you're finding a little bit of that. It just seems that information is chopping and changing left, right and centre all over the place, especially as you start diving down into the old rabbit holes. Anyway, never mind all that for the moment. We'll come back to that because I just want to show you this. Here it is. Yesterday, apparently, this painting, if you can call it that, was unveiled somewhere or other in London. And it's the King. I don't know if you can see that between the red sort of weird murky thing. And he's in some sort of uniform. I know that there's probably a technical term for it, and I did read it, but I've forgotten, to be honest with you. The striking picture, if nothing else, isn't it? It's funny how, you'd think that most monarchs would like to have, as they have had traditionally, a nice, friendly, jolly, benevolent kind of portrait done of them, so that they would, what would you say, show themselves in the best light to the public, so that down in history people would go, oh yes, that's it. We've seen often many of the kings and queens in England on these rather lovely portraits in big country houses with massive gilt frames around them, sitting there with, I don't know, dogs and members of the family and all of that, and looking very benign and nice and happy. Now, there may be in the background some sort of sinister sort of things, the odd snake, or perhaps a book or a pen or something that signifies something more than what it is, and we're all beginning to realise that some of these are not quite what they seem to be. But these days, everything is just shoved in your face, isn't it? It's shoved to the point of absolutely everything, and everything is turned into, what should we say, hellish pictures, I think is the thing. We'll see people performing at various music festivals, or new releases of certain records, or pop videos, or actors acting in big films, and they all have this sort of devilish feeling to it, this sort of satanic Luciferian feeling to it. Does that not resonate with you with this picture here? Does that not give you a sort of, strange that it's all in this very strange blood red mist, and then there's this sort of semi-weird figure peering through in his red uniform. It is a very, very strange image of a king who, of course, we've been told has cancer. Or has he actually already been by powers that be, or new powers that are coming in saying, well, it's time to correct the nefarious goings-on of this world and turn everything the correct way round? I don't know. It's very confusing. I'm feeling quite confused about life at the moment. On the one hand, we're looking up in the skies and we're seeing the awful chemical engineering that's going on with the various bits and bobs and the spraying. But then I've been told by somebody else who says he's in the know. He says, no. Up until 2018, the spraying was all bad, but the spraying that's going on now is actually there to clear up the crap that's in the sky. Hard to swallow that one, I grant you, but I do try to keep an open mind on all this stuff. But having an open mind all the time, does that lend you to being rather gullible? Does that mean you'll just swallow anything that somebody tells you if they say it convincing enough? We've all understood, exactly the propaganda from the government, where they've told us something was actually quite good for us being injected into our bodies, and many people are now beginning to think twice that perhaps wasn't the best course of action that they ever did in their lives, and are quite worried about what might happen, especially if a certain tower outside their house is switched on with radiation technology. And who knows what was in this thing? We've been told bioweapon technology, we've been told graphene, we've been told snake venom, we've been told all sorts of different things, and it's all a bit confusing, and people are telling different stories, and who knows what the actual truth is, and who knows if these towers are actually being switched on. Now, I've also been told things like, no, those big 5G towers, that's not bad radiation. They've been tuned. Now that'll be sending out good radiation. Well, who wants to stand in front of anything that radiates to test it? Certainly not me. Maybe you do, but I don't. But when you see images like this, you just think, what is that really trying to tell you? Is that trying to tell you that you've got a kind, benevolent king who's there to look after you? Or are you is it really trying to tell you that we are entering into a new phase of hellish, weird, strange, rather malicious, nasty things happening? Does that sort of give the impression of peace and goodwill? Or does it sort of give the impression of some dictator-like figure who is going to bring the wrath of Satan onto us all? I mean, I'm just asking the questions. I don't know. I'd be interested in your thoughts on this picture and what you think. You may be one of those people who love all this sort of stuff and go, oh, no, it's nice, red is a friendly colour. It's not a colour of anger or danger or beware or blood or guts or dismemberment or any of that sort of stuff. No, it's just sort of new art. It's a new way of doing things. It's a new thing. Putting people in a sort of blood-red mist and making them smile benignly at you, no doubt, as perhaps people coming along will start to slice you to bits. I've no idea. Anyway, I just thought I would show that to you and see what you make of that. Now, whilst we're here, ladies and gentlemen, in a confusing world, let's try and find some stuff which is a little bit more helpful to you. And in yesterday's show, but in a video that I did yesterday, I recorded with a chap called Guy Anderson. Interesting, he was talking about the Cabbage Patch Kids, and he mentioned that orphans were being for sale. Kids were being put up for sale. And somebody, thank you very much to the person who sent this. I'm sorry I've forgotten your name because I was in a rush to get this out to you. Somebody sent me a video. And here it is on BitChute. You can go and check this out. I'll leave a link in the description. And this is a chap who's running something called Children Are Not Sex Toys. And this is these Cabbage Patch Kids, as you can see from this video. But if I just go at random places in this video, you'll see this video is about demonstrating the postcards that were around at the turn of the century, last century, showing children in cabbage patches up for sale, being watered by, I suppose, the last of the Tartarian, dynasty. Here is another one. Look at that, by a gravestone. I mean, it is quite scary. Anyway, this is a fascinating video to go and watch. Here's some more postcards. Look at this. There we are. Children being offered for sale all over the place and potentially being bought. I mean, it is quite mad. The Cabbage Patch Babies, and there is a book dedicated to it. Anyway, I just thought I would show that to you in case. And whilst we're here, a couple of things. As you know, I've been down to Dora's Dairy quite a bit, milking cows, learning how to do a bit of farming, because Julia and I would love to have a bit of land and to do some farming, and we'd like to have some cows and pigs. I did the other day a little video where I dug a wallow hole for some pigs. We'll be heading back to my little farm there to help them and volunteer, hand over some, a bit of brute force if I can manage to muster up some more of that, which would be grand. But John Cook down at Dora's Dairy is just wanted to let me know, and you know, because we've been talking about raw milk and how useful that is, that actually at Dora's Dairy now they are selling their raw milk. They have the raw milk available and you can buy it by postage. So you can order the milk from their website. I'll leave the link in the description and you can get some of the health benefits of raw milk. They've got a shop now, an online shop, so you can buy all that. And I think you can buy some other bits and bobs as well. But you can go and visit the farm. Here we are, Dora's Dairy, and the lovely cows and various people. There's John and Sarah, and you can find out all about them there. And also, whilst we're here, we may as well show you this, because coming up on Sunday the 26th of May, which isn't so far away, an Open Minds charity festival is going on. And I'm going to be there, but not only me, lots of other people. John O'Looney, which will be very interesting to talk to. John O'Looney. He's found out some very fascinating information about the migrants, and I did a thing about it on the show the other day about how the rubber boats are being used twice, allegedly by the government, are sending them back. David Yates, who I've yet to meet, Dawn Lester and David Parker, authors of What Really Makes You Ill, will be there. And this is their book. I interviewed Dawn Lester on the show. Fascinating book, lots of information about everything that you think you know about medicine is completely wrong, especially about Big Pharma and whether it's good for you or bad for you. Who else have we got there? Helen Craven, who's going to do some Reiki, and Clive DeCarl, who is the health expert. Definitely worth coming up and seeing good old Clive. I don't know if he's going to be bringing his newly acquired chair that he has, a special chair which sort of resets the body. It's an amazing piece of kit. I forget what he calls it now, but it's I've been in it, and yes, you get jumbled up as if you're heading down a mine shaft. But actually, it's supposed to be very good for you, and I'm sure it is. Good old Clive and his lovely supplements. So there's a couple of things to be thinking about at the moment, things that are going on. But let me just leave you with that haunting image, if I may, of our king, supposedly. There he is, looking very sinister, if you ask me. But I'll be interested in your views on that, so do get in touch, leave a comment. And finally, I just want to say I am swamped with emails, absolutely swamped with emails, and I do apologise that I am just unable to get to them all and answer them all as much as I really want to. It is difficult, and people have said, well, you need to get a PA, or pay for somebody to answer all the emails. Well, I think if people are emailing me, on the whole, they are emailing me and they want an answer from me. Rest assured that I do read them. I definitely read them, but it's a bit like Vision On. If you're of a certain age and you remember that programme Vision On, in which Pat Kiesel used to say when the children sent in their pictures that they used to draw and send them in to be shown in the gallery, whilst we heard the do dee doo dee doo dee doo doo dee doo 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 doo. People may remember that. I think that was the Left Bank, wasn't it, by the Novatones. But anyway, while she was doing that, she used to do a bit of sign language, and she would say, "I'm sorry, thank you so much for sending in the pictures. I'm sorry, we cannot return them." And one suspects that actually what happened was they took all those wonderful pictures that the kids did their very best, sent them off to Vision On at the BBC, and they probably burnt them. But they couldn't be bothered to send them back. And it's a bit like that with me, I'm afraid. I just do not get the time to answer all the emails. I certainly don't burn them, absolutely, but rest assured, I do take lots of time to read them. And that was genuine sign language in Vogue language, maybe not in deaf people's language. It may have sounded an absolute a bit white noise that some of us are beginning to hear a lot more of, a bit of that tinnitus. Anyway, there we go. That's it today. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you later on. And if you're watching on the day this goes out, very interesting interview with Gary Waterman coming up about more of the fraud, and you may want to check that out.